become now a fashionable thing, whose vision is never explained. Once I said that 40 to 50% of Mumbai's citizens have a vision that they should have a quiet sleep without mosquito bite. But nobody pays attention to that. But that man also wrote something. But what it really had was a kind of reform agenda. What it accepted that these plans are essentially spatial plans or land use plans. They are not comprehensive, sectorally integrated, holistic, all the adjectives that you hear about plans. They are not that kind of plans. Instead, the plan recommended that the agencies who are responsible for sectors, they should also prepare plans of reasonable time horizon, 5 to 10 years, and also publish them for citizens, at least information and consultation. How do you make priorities and do resource allocation across this sector? Can be done through a mechanism of capital investment planning on a 5-yearly cycle. So that was the recommendation of the plan, which has been undone. The DP of Mumbai can be a very broad spatial framework, and it has to be followed by local area plans for more detailed planning. And these local area plans don't have to be done for every part and every sector of the city, but problem areas. Like in South Mumbai, for example, area around Budeshwar, which is highly congested, with a lot of conflicts between street vending versus actual street usage, etc. Or a difficult area close by like Shivaji Nagar. Without the local area plans, you cannot deal with such areas under the framework of a so-called development plan. Now that recommendation has also been undone. It also recommended that FSI is not a panacea and you should more carefully use FSI. That has also been undone, and it has gone back to the old FSI regime. I'll come to that little later. And the 1991's the DCRs, because the way in which they have grown over the years, like a patchwork, have become very complex. Very few people can read and understand those regulations. And the manner in which the new plan has done it has even made it more difficult to read and understand those. So if you want a regulatory framework that is easily understood and followed, that reduces the scope for rent seeking, reduces transaction costs, and makes the market also works better. That part has again been overlooked. In fact, I think that's a brief on the way in which planning has happened. Now I move to land and property rights. Because in many plans, particularly the 67 plan, there was a lot of concern about compensation that will have to be paid to landowners if the MCGM has to do something about slums and low income housing. The regional plan also recommended that the bulk land acquisition is the basic strategy for urban management, and that also requires acquiring larger tracts of land. But the 1950 Constitution said that to acquire, hold and dispose of property is a fundamental right. And as a corollary of that, it also said that the state can intervene and take the property only for public purpose and by paying compensation at market rate. Now this was seen as a big hurdle. How can we have planning without that? So in 1971 Constitution was amended, and instead of compensation the word amount was introduced. And you can pay amount and not compensation provided it is being done for following the directive principle. And the directive principle essentially was about subserving common good, equity, etc. With that amendment, many legislative actions were initiated in Maharashtra MMRDA Act, MARD Act, Slum Act, they all provided for amount to be paid instead of market compensation. Now not much was acquired under those provisions, but the provisions were made in the law. And the ultimate was achieved in 1976 Urban Land Ceiling Act, where the amount was also perhaps very illusory, and the condition of public purpose was not also there. That if you own land in excess of 500 meters in and around Mumbai, the excess land vested in government. Thereafter, in 1978, the fundamental right was converted into a legal right in the constitution itself. The right to own property was removed from the list of fundamental. And by 1999, it was realized the urban land ceiling was quite anachronistic with the kind of macroeconomic policies were adopted from 1991 onward, and therefore it was repealed. Maharashtra, of course, took much longer to repeal that. It was repealed in 2008. And the new legislation has a long name, and I can't never remember it, but it's been called as LAR, that is Land Acquisition and Resettlement and Rehabilitation Act. In a way, implicitly, it reconfirms that there is a right to own property, and it can be taken by the state only for public purpose, by paying not only the market rate but 100% extra as the solution, because it is being compulsorily applied. So that is where we stand now, and this in a way provides the framework for any spatial plan. And any idea that spatial planning has to be more aggressive in terms of dealing with land will not work, because we have gone through the whole process from being a fundamental right to all kinds of interventions in the land market, and finally come to this stage. But Government of Maharashtra and NCGM has been much smarter. What they said, we can't do much about land, but we will do something about development rights. So what they have said earlier and also in the new plan, that the land